It's Ash from SuperVideos back for another video for Fear the Walking Dead. This is going to be my trailer breakdown for Season 8 of Fear, which is its final season. There's a lot of very interesting details in this teaser trailer that I do want to talk about. We have our first look at Padre, which has been teased in the last few episodes in Season 7, and also it appears that Clear Morgan is returning, which is super interesting. So stay tuned, we'll be right back to break this down. Alright, as always, before we dive into it, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that said, let's dive right into it. So this teaser trailer actually starts with this shot of inside Padre. This is our first look at Padre, and we see that it's obviously some sort of an island. It's surrounded by water, and I'm assuming that the boat that we saw at the end of the last season, which is carrying Madison and Morgan, will be around this area. Of course, this could be from a different timeline, but I'm just saying that their boat would probably come in through the port that we see here. But as we can see, Padre appears to be a more agricultural type of community because we see solar panels, we see windmills, and we see crops. So unlike what we anticipated or what was teased, Padre doesn't appear to be a military style community. It appears to be a community much like the communities we've seen in the Walking Dead universe in the past, like Alexandria, Hilltop, Kingdom, even the communities that we saw in Fear the Walking Dead. Unless Padre is a big community, just like the CRM or the Civic Republic, which obviously has its own separate military faction. So we could see a similar sort of thing when it comes to Padre. It could be big enough and organized enough to look closer to what the CRM looks like. But in the voiceover, we have someone talking to the survivors. I don't know who he's talking to, obviously, but it appears like he's talking through some sort of a speaker. And it definitely sounds a lot like the type of speaker that was used when we saw the flashbacks with Madison first getting to Padre, when we saw that. So it appears that it's the same type of setup. But what he's saying is you're about to play a crucial role in the next steps this settlement is about to make. Self-explanatory, not much to break down. We have this shot of Morgan. He looks pretty concerned here. It looks like there's going to be some sort of conflict. Then we have this picture of Madison. It appears that her hands are tied and she's captured, which is interesting. So she's trying to escape. It looks like this might be the boat that we saw. So this could be right after the scene that we saw at the end of last episode in the last season. So the cliffhanger of season 7. Then we have this pretty interesting shot of these people with these weird masks. And we see them with a lasso or something like that. And they're fighting someone else, and we see someone with an orange jumpsuit type of uniform there. Now we'll see someone else wearing the same thing, so I'm not sure if it's going to be the same person or if this is just the uniform that they give their prisoners to wear or something like that. We will also see these people in masks again later, so keep that in mind. But then we have this pretty cool shot of Morgan, Madison, and someone else. I don't know who that third person is, but in the voiceover, in the background, Madison says, South Padre gets people to do what they want and find out what matters to you and threaten. So it seems like there's different parts of Padre. There's the north, the south, the west, the east. So it looks like it's big enough. It's a big island. And it looks like south of Padre is more strict and it's more authoritarian in the way that they run things, which is interesting. And then we have this picture of Madison looking at someone else. This is the third person. They're wearing the same exact type of mask that we saw earlier. So that's definitely super interesting. And then we have this shot of Madison and Morgan on a rafting boat or something, and we have a sniper rifle pointing their gun at them. I'm assuming this is right away when we first see Madison and Morgan get to Padre, and this is probably their first introduction into what Padre really looks like, and we'll see our first interaction with people at Padre. And then we have this shot, which is the same exact person that we saw with the sniper rifle. We see their gun here, so it looks like they are hiding. They're camouflaged or something like that, which is interesting. And then we have this shot of a van in the background, a black van, and then Morgan running. It looks like he's terrified. We have these walkers, and then we have this shot, which is super interesting. We have Morgan and Grace, I think, and then Morgan tells Grace, no matter what's coming, we have to live. And in the background, we see clear spray painted on the wall. That's super interesting. Obviously, Morgan used to do this in his clear mode. So, are we seeing the return of Clear Morgan? It's possible. I'm not a fan. Not that I don't like that type of Morgan, but I'm just thinking that it's repetitive. We've seen that already. They keep going back and forth between All Life is Precious Morgan and Clear Morgan. So, it's getting a little annoying and a little boring at this point because it's repetitive. We've seen it already. It's recycled story. And then we have this shot of the same people in masks that we saw earlier, and they take the sack off of the head of this walker, but obviously it's not revealed it's a walker until they take off the sack. So they're probably torturing someone or trying to do some sort of weird interrogation of someone or something like that. We have June here. She opens something and then there's a lot of guns inside. We'll see that in a bit. But we see this shot of the same type of prisoner suit that we saw earlier. Someone's wearing it. We see others wearing it as well, but some are orange, some are yellow. So I wonder if the different colors mean anything, whether it's ranks or different types of way to identify people that are prisoners or something like that. We see what appears to be an animal hanging from the roof. So it looks like they're butchering some sort of an animal, which is interesting. Also, we see some sort of a gas tank being carried, or gas tanks, I should say. I don't know if that's just gas or if it's explosives or something, but super interesting. We have this shot of the guns that I was talking about. There's a lot of them, which is super awesome and interesting. But in the voiceover, someone says, we're building an army to take on Padre. So this is obviously teasing at a big battle or a war between Padre and the survivors, which is definitely not shocking. They've been teasing it and we've speculated on it, so it's not like it's oh shit thing. We've already kind of known about this, so it's not new. Now it looks like Victor Strand is saying this, but I could be wrong, but it sounded like his voice. But then we have this very weird thing where there's a jar or something and there's heads inside of it. Reminds me of the governor from the original Walking Dead show, which is interesting. We will see the same type of head later on as well in the trailer. We have this shot of Daniel Salazar with some other soldiers in the background, armed to the teeth. And then someone says, do you really want to do this? So it looks like this is some sort of a confrontational face off between the two groups, Padre and the survivors, which is interesting. And then we have Dwight here struggling to get out of someplace. We have these zombies in the water. And then in the background, I think that's Morgan and someone wearing the orange jumpsuits that we've been talking about. And then we have Madison here fighting off walkers. It looks like she may be in the boat or something like that. And then we have Madison here. She breaks the windows. And then we have her here. So Madison pointing the gun at someone. She looks super badass here. She looks like she's in control. But in the voiceover, she says, there's nothing you can do to me that's worse than what I'm already living. So that's super interesting. I mean, self-explanatory, not much to break down, but it's super interesting. I wonder if this is a scene with her and the leader of Padre or something like that. And then we have this shot of Morgan with someone wearing an orange shirt. It doesn't look like it's the orange jumpsuit shirts that we've seen, but it could be. But if I remember right, that's actually the child that they adopted, him and Grace. I could be wrong. But in the voiceover, we do have Sherry. So that's awesome. And we see a kid next to her. That's actually Sherry and Dwight's kid, or I should say most likely. So definitely revealing to us that this is a flash forward scene or a time jump scene, which is awesome. But Morgan in the voiceover screams, what do you want? and he's obviously talking through the walkie. I'm assuming he's also talking to leaders of PADRE or people in charge. And then we have this shot of a bunch of walkers being trapped in an area with a fence. And then in the voiceover, we have someone saying, sometimes we have to learn lessons the hard way. And it's coming through in the same speaker. But I don't know who this person is looking at them, but they have a machine gun with them, which is super interesting. And then this final shot of someone holding up a head. This goes back to the shot that we saw earlier with the heads inside of the jars. But that's pretty much it. I mean, a lot of very interesting details, but I'm honestly not that excited about Fear, and I didn't even want to break this trailer down. I wasn't even going to react to season 8 of Fear, but since it's the final season, I decided to just break down the main trailer, which this appears to be, and just do the reactions, but nothing major in terms of Fear the Walking Dead videos. But with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.